Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are so excited to explain the College Credit Plus process and program to you. The presentation that we're using is the statewide slide deck. We are hoping that our families retain from this presentation a copy of this slide deck, the annual information session slide deck, as well as the Wyoming CCP handbook that is linked on our first slide up here. With us tonight, we have Christopher James representing Sinclair and Alicia Justice representing the Miami Regionals. They will be contributing towards the end of the presentation with some school-specific information. So we will get started. So to start off, CCP is Ohio's dual credit program. Through this program, students can earn both high school and college credit at the same time. Students enroll in college courses and adhere to the policies and requirements of that college while earning both high school and college credit. Students in grades 7 through 12, this program is open for students grades 7 through 12. You must be an Ohio student and be in a public or private secondary school or in the homeschool program. Students in grades 7 through 12 may apply to multiple colleges. They may also attend multiple colleges. So that's just important to note as you're considering the course catalogs that may be available to you this summer, fall, or next spring. In order to be eligible for CCP, colleges are looking at different exam scores. Eligibility determination, there are some criteria that the state is still working on. We are expecting additional criteria to be released in spring of 2022. Those conversations, I believe you're going to be mostly having with your college CCP advisors. So just keep that on your radar and make sure you bring that up in conversation after you're admitted to a CCP program and are considering the classes, the courses that you're going to be taking. Through CCP, there are a variety of college level courses. There are some restrictions based on placement testing and eligibility rules. These courses can be used to satisfy both high school and college requirements. Three and 4 college credit hour courses converts to 1 high school unit, or the equivalency of 1 year-long high school class. It is very important to note that students must complete their college courses in order to earn credit. If a student fails or withdraws from a course, your high school is required to accurately report that grade. So please note that as your school counselor, Ms. Rutowski and I are required to accurately report all CCP grades on your high school transcript. Your high school transcript will match exactly what is submitted to us on your college transcript. So students in grades 7 through 12 through CCP can take their college courses in the summer, fall, and spring, as long as they are meeting their college deadlines. These colleges are available both on college campuses or online. Eligibility, again, we've discussed this for just over 1 slide. But in order to be eligible for CCP, you do have to meet college eligibility based on their assessment exam score requirements. The scores that students are taking to show that they're ready for college level courses, ACT, SAT, AccuPlacer, the ones that we see most commonly are ACT and AccuPlacer. After a student applies to a college, your college will reach out and let you know if a placement test is needed. And how to sign up for one of those placement tests on that college campus. Again, there are some additional eligibility determinations that are still being discussed by the state that we will have more information on this spring. But do know that colleges make individual eligibility determination based on those different exam scores. The second step of CCP is applying for college admission. If you Google any of these colleges' names, Sinclair CCP, Miami Regional CCP, you're going to come up to a very informative webpage that tells you all about their admission process, their admission requirements, and the things that these schools are looking for. Each student is going to be asked to complete a permission slip as a part of their admission, or as a part of their application. A lot of students also see this called the authorization worksheet. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to your high school counselor, or you can reach out to your college CCP advisor, but do be on the lookout for a permission type slip that your high school counselor will have to fill out. Again, head over to those college websites to find plenty of information about the application process. You can contact your CCP advisors to find out anything else about additional requirements, paperwork, deadlines. Colleges do have the final decision on student admission. Once you are admitted, the college will send out a questionnaire that will be required for your enrollment. The third step, so after the student has applied, the next piece after they're admitted will be course registration. If a student has been admitted and considered eligible, their advisor will discuss with them the course options available and help them with the scheduling process. The most exciting part about CCP, of course, is that it is dual credit. It can be used to both earn your college credit and to satisfy high school graduation requirements. As your school counselors, Ms. Rehowski and I can help you understand what your graduation requirements are. Students, listen carefully during your presentations during Flex tomorrow and Thursday. Many of your CCP courses that you can take will also count towards different high school classes, but not all of them. Because of that, it is very important that you meet with your high school counselor, discuss your plans, and know what to expect, what is allowed, what is not allowed. Here at Wyoming, we do have slightly more than the state minimum for graduation. So we do have some kind of specialty classes that we really need to make sure that you're completing and want to advise you correctly on the courses that are available to you through CCP. Some parents, if you've had some older students who have been through the CCP program, this might be somewhat new information to you. In the past few years, students have had to start taking 15 credit hours in what are called level 1 courses prior to having access to the entire college course catalog. Level 1 courses include courses that are guaranteed to transfer to other state colleges, courses in IT, computer science, A&P, foreign language, courses that are a part of a technical certificate or a 30 or 15 credit hour pathway, courses that help you with study skills, academic or career success, but not courses that cover remedial work. All of the local colleges that we work with do have a page off of their CCP homepage that will take you to a list of their level 1 recommended courses. This is a great resource. This is where students should be looking when they start to think about what are the first courses I want to take in CCP. After a student has completed their first 15 credit hours in a level 1, then students are able to move up to a level 2 course, which is really any other course that the college is going to offer, as long as you meet the prerequisites that are outlined for that class. There are some classes that we cannot, that our students cannot take through CCP: private applied courses, courses with very high fees, study abroad courses, PE classes, pass-fail courses, or remedial or religious-based courses are not covered through CCP. In terms of grades, we've touched on this a few times. The CCP grades that you earn at your college campus will be recorded on your high school transcript. The CCP grades will also be factored into our high school GPA, so that is important to take note of. Regarding GPA and course weighting, if the high school uses a weighted scale, which Wyoming does, if you take a course, if you take a CCP course and we offer an honors or AP equivalent course in that subject area, then you will be receiving weighted credit for that CCP course. We strongly recommend that students who are considering going into like a career pathway consider CCP. There are some excellent opportunities there for students. Students should also be talking to their academic advisors about what courses could lead to future degrees or majors that they could be interested in. Regarding graduation requirements, again, your CCP classes count for both high school and college. There are CCP classes that will fulfill your graduation requirements. We need you to come and talk to us about your plans. If you are planning on taking CCP classes that are going to be counting as courses that are required for graduation, as your school counselors, we need to know about that. If we don't know about that, if we don't know that you're taking the CCP course, we might be adding that course onto your schedule because we don't know that you're taking it in the summer or something like that. Regarding how many classes a student can take per year, this is considering both high school classes and CCP classes. The secondary school, when we look at the number of classes a student takes, there's this equation that we use. So for example, if we have a student who's going to take a combination of both CCP and high school classes, we have to say, okay, 4 high school classes times 3 is 12. So 30 minus 12, you could take up to 18 CCP credit hours without being charged. And if students go over 30 credit hours, the family becomes responsible for paying the entire course, tuition, fees, and books at the college standard rate. There is an option to drop a course if you've inadvertently gone over 30 credit hours, but that's a very time-sensitive option. If you pass the deadline for the no fault withdrawal date, you will have to pay for the additional course that you've gone over 30 hours. So that's a little tricky. Ms. Rutowski and I want to be sure that we're helping families through this. Again, that is why it is essential to please come to our CCP planning or individual CCP planning meetings so we can help discuss what courses you can take and how many you can take. I'm going to go ahead and switch places now with Mrs. Rutowski. So it's lovely talking with everyone tonight. Thank you.
So you guys might be wondering, what are the differences between high school and college? What does the course load look like? Those kinds of things. So in high school, there are a lot of tests. There could be weekly tests, bi-weekly tests, but in college, there could be 4 tests throughout the entire semester, and it covers more material. So one test is going to have a lot more information in it than a high school test would that's given more frequently. Study time. So tests given weekly. So you're kind of studying the end of the day. And you study about 1 to 3 hours for high school. In college, you can kind of think 2 to 3 hours for every hour spent in class. So depending on how many courses you take, that's going to be 3 to 5 hours every day. Again, every class, like in high school, every class varies in course load, homework, tests, that kind of thing. Knowledge acquisition, we're going to talk a lot about student responsibility, taking college classes, but in high school, a lot of it is you're taught, the teacher's helping you, teachers supporting you. A lot of it's provided mostly in class. There's not a ton of outside research where you're on your own. You're normally guided. Even if you do have homework, you're normally told how to do that before leaving for the day. In college, coursework is going to be a little more independent. You have to think a little more outside the box, longer writing assignment, a lot of out of class research, and it's just a lot more responsibility on the student to get information. So in college, responsibilities on the student to acquire more. Grades, kind of like I touched on earlier. High school, there can be a lot more assignments that go into your final grade. So a lot of quizzes, homework, in-class assignment, tests, a lot of assignments. You could have 100 different things going into a final grade. In college, it could be 4 papers and that's it, or 4 tests and that's your final grade. You're not going to get as many chances to kind of bring up your grade. So every assignment's going to have a lot more weight in college. The role of the parents in high school, we work really closely with parents. Teachers work really closely with parents. Parents, you guys are advocates for your kids. You're talking to teachers if you see any issues or if there's good things, but you're working pretty closely with us and the teachers for your child. In college, you're going to serve more as a mentor. You're going to support your student, but we want you to empower your student to be the independent decision maker. They are a college student once they decide to take CCP classes. Due to the Family and Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, you guys have probably heard it before, you are not able to contact the professor at a university the same way that you contact your child's teacher. So a lot more responsibility falls on the student. If something's not going well in a college class, that responsibility is going to fall on the student to reach out to the professor, see what they can do, get extra help. That falls on the student in college. In high school, you have an awesome safety net of teachers, school counselors, even admin that's supporting your students. Again, college is a lot more responsibility on the student when there's some issues in classes. Accommodations is going to be similar to that, just kind of piggybacking off of that. If your student's on an IEP or 504, you have a case manager for those plans. You have teachers that are working to ensure those accommodations are being made in the classroom. You have meetings about those plans. In high school, it's a lot more hands-on if you have any sort of accommodations or modifications. In college, the student, again, is the responsible, independent decision maker. They need to go to the professor. Some IEPs and 504 plans may or may not be included in those discussions, but if you have an IEP or 504 plan, we strongly recommend you speaking with your CCP advisor, letting them know, and then they can point you in the right direction at their university with what to do with those plans. So what are the benefits? It's a lot of information, kind of the nitty gritty, but what are the positives? What are the pros for participating in the CCP program? The best thing, you can earn college credits. You can get that head start. You can end high school with a high school diploma and also a ton of credits for college. You can experience college early to understand the expectations. So you can kind of dip your feet in the water, just take 1 or 2 classes at a time and get a feel for what professors are like, what college classes are like. Taking those college classes also, when you're applying for colleges later on, you've taken these higher level classes, so they can see it on your transcript. So it can also make you a more competitive applicant. The big thing is that it is free, assuming you pass the course. These classes are free. They're free college courses. You save on tuition, textbooks are covered. You don't have to pay for textbooks. The biggest benefit that a lot of people say is I can get however many hours covered and not have to pay for them when I am in college. That being said, this is pretty important. We don't anticipate anybody being an underperforming student, but we know things happen. We know that this is a big step. So there are consequences of underperforming, and some of them can be lasting. Some of them will last through your college career. If you do not earn a passing grade, or if you withdraw too late, like Ms. Jada talked about, past that withdrawal, that penalty date, the district may require the family to pay for that tuition. So whatever the 3 credit hours, however much that class costs, you would be responsible for covering that. So if you don't pass the class or you withdraw too late, you will be responsible for covering the cost of that course. Another really big, you'll have to pay. And then the other really big consequence is that grade is on your transcripts, on your high school transcript, but it's going to be on your college transcript until you graduate. So that grade will be on there. It will follow you throughout college. So it's a little, we try to make sure that if you are struggling, like we talked about early, that you're meeting with your professor, we can help you start those conversations, but you really need to talk with your professor if you're struggling. If students fail or withdraw often, future financial aid may also be impacted negatively. That information is going to be individual to each university. So contact the college's financial aid office for details. Students who perform poorly will be placed on CCP probation, CCP dismissal, or placed on academic probation. So we're going to talk about what those are. CCP probation is when a student earns less than a 2.0 cumulative GPA. So, if you withdraw from 2 or more courses. So if you have a 2.0 GPA or withdraw from 2 or more courses in one academic term, you will be placed on CCP probation. So while on probation, you can only enroll in one CCP course for one college term. Okay, so you can only be in one class. You can't, some students who do it full time, you're not gonna be able to do that, only one course. You may not enroll in the college course in the same subject in which you earned that D, F, or equivalent grade. So if you failed English comp, you will not be able to take an English class that next semester because you are on probation. CCP dismissal, if you're on CCP probation and you're not able to increase your CCP GPA to a 2.0 or above during that probation term, you will be placed on CCP dismissal. While on CCP dismissal, students may not enroll in any CCP courses. You are able to appeal and be reinstated into the program. That's going to be on an individual basis. These appeals can happen if you want to take a course in the same subject. And for CCP dismissal, within 5 days of being dismissed, you may submit an appeal to the secondary school, us, to appeal the CCP dismissal. The student may appeal at the end of the CCP dismissal semester. So what are the expenses for College Credit Plus? Like I said, public universities, there is no cost to the families, the students. The only expenses are going to be traveling, gas, and then parking on campus. But those costs will go straight to the family. We don't ever see that, but you don't have to pay for the courses or books. Private universities, they may require a small fee per credit hour. This is if you're taking at a private university. The tuition and fees and books may be covered, but they might add a fee. Again, that's going to be specific to each individual university. So students must complete the intent to participate form and provide back to us. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. By April 1st this year. You must confirm with the college that you're going to, and then us, if you're going to take advantage of CCP using state funds, option B, or self-pay using option A. We're going to talk briefly about those. You guys are going to want to select option B, but let me just let you know about option A. Option A, self-pay, you pay the standard rate, tuition, fees, you pay for all of them, okay? Option A, the difference is you can choose to earn college credit and high school credit or just college credit. So if you don't want it to go towards your high school GPA, high school transcript, then you can just have it be a college credit. Option B is what you're probably thinking about doing. It's what you've heard about. It's the free option. All college, all the tuition, all the fees, textbooks are paid by the state of Ohio. You will earn college credit and high school credit. Option B is the default. So you'll have an option to select option A or option B. Unless you've had a conversation with us saying option A, you are selecting option B, but we're going to have meetings to discuss all of that. No reason for you to select option A at this point. So what support services are available to CCP students? So we are still your high school counselors, and we still want to support you and be there for you. We can help you, point you in the right direction when it comes to college classes. We want to make sure we're obviously doing the right high school graduation requirements. We're still here for social emotional support. We're still your people, okay? However, you kind of get an additional layer of support with a college, the CCP advisor. They're going to help you provide, or they're going to help you select those courses that make sense for you to take through CCP. The other cool thing is you are considered a college student. So you do get the same academic support, such as tutoring on campus, library access, advising, counseling. Those services are all available to you. In addition to what you get at the high school, you can use those services at the university. Student athletes, we're going to talk about this at our scheduling meeting, but you should really be aware of the OHSAA requirements to be eligible. I know we've had a lot of conversations about that. Know that your summer term, if you're taking summer classes, those do not count towards eligibility for your spring season, and they don't count towards your fall season. So if you're taking summer classes, that's awesome, that's great, but we cannot count those when it comes to eligibility for any season in the school year. Will the credits transfer? We get a lot of these questions. Will my courses transfer to this university? Okay, that is a very, very specific question, very specific to the university. Certain classes will transfer, especially from one public school to another. We can't promise that they'll transfer out of state, but you do get that college experience. So some courses will transfer. You need to check with each individual college that you're interested in going to see and confirm that how it transfers, what that looks like. If you have more questions about that, transfercredit.ohio.gov has information. This is really important, being college ready. You might have been listening to this and you're wondering, am I ready? Is my student ready to take these CCP courses? And being college ready is more than just being academically ready, okay? You could be sitting, you're a CCP high school student, you could be 14, 15 years old, and it's a college level course, and you could take it on campus and be sitting in a college class with 18 to 22-year-olds, or we have adults that come back and get their degrees. So you can have a high school student sitting in class with older adults and college students having these college discussions. It's a great experience for students, but some students just aren't ready for that yet, okay? So consider that emotional, social transition and what it's like to be a college student. Consider time management, organizational skills, okay? A lot of responsibility falls on the student to be a CCP student, to take CCP classes, okay? So just making sure that you're organized, you're able to manage your time effectively. Grades are earned, we talked about this, for high school and your college GPA, okay? So we wanna make sure that you're ready and responsible enough to start earning those credits and getting the grades you want to be on your college transcript. So what are the deadlines? We have April 1st this year, a couple months, 1-2 months away. You must complete the return the intent to participate form. And that CCP handbook is on the first slide. We're going to send all this out as well. When you do meetings, we can even do a hard copy. That CCP handbook has everything in a more condensed, and it has a checklist of what exactly you're supposed to do. So that intent to participate link is on that form. So you guys will be able to access it there. Because schools you need to be eligible for the specific schools, make sure you're checking ACT, SAT testing dates. And then if you are wanting to take summer classes, those deadlines are obviously a lot earlier because their classes start in May. So just be aware that you're applying and getting ready to take summer classes. How do you get started? Complete that intent to participate form, give it back to us by April 1st, and then you're going to apply. You can apply to multiple colleges, give yourself a variety of classes, variety of options to choose from. You apply, then you're going to contact the college. Some schools require that you meet with the CCP, you do an orientation before to make sure you understand all the processes. So you contact the college, discuss those assessment testing requirements. You're going to meet with me or Ms. Jada to make sure we're getting the graduation requirements. We have a list, like I said, on the handbook of when to meet with us. And we would rather you guys meet with us and double check more than once. We want to make sure you have the requirements you need. That is a lot of information. We're going to move on in just a minute to our college guests. There's a lot of information. We understand that you might have questions. Like I said, the handbook is really easy to understand. Hopefully you scanned it at the beginning. If not, we'll send it out. We will have we have it on our Simply Book Me. So those links right there, those are also in our email signatures. We've sent them out to a lot of families. It'll say CCP Student Planning Meeting. You can select one of those options to sign up for a meeting with us, okay? We can sit down and kind of talk about what it looks like. Please let us know if you have any questions. Again, this will all be posted and we are happy to help. We're going to move on. Christopher James is with us from Sinclair. He's going to share kind of a lot of the information is the same for every school, but he's going to share what's the specific Sinclair information.
Well, thank you. And thank you guys for joining us this evening. So basically, as CCP at Sinclair, what I'll kind of just touch on is just a specifics of the program. For the most part, the information that was covered previously kind of touches on everything that we do as well. So just to kind of start, we have what's called our level 1 courses. That was kind of already explained. Again, that just basically means we want our students to start CCP in progression. So we want them to start with, say, for instance, their English 1101 course, and then take the courses in progression from there. Again, we don't want students just to come in on our campus and take an advanced English course or a literature course. Again, because we want to make sure that they're on the path to success, okay? Non-allowable courses, that was kind of touched on already as well, so I won't necessarily bore you guys with that. But again, at Sinclair, we have what's called our first 15 credit hours. So we want our students to take their first 15 credit hours in those level 1 courses. So this is the piece that I kind of have to say because it's Sinclair. So, why should you choose Sinclair? Why should you take a CCP at Sinclair? But basically, because we have 5 campus locations, our closest campus location, I believe, would be the Mason location for you guys. But of course, you have the remote option as well. We have over 100 transfer agreements with Ohio colleges and universities, over 220 degree and certificate programs. So basically, whatever your student may be interested in, whatever their interests may lie, we are sure that we can find something at Sinclair that aligns with that. And then one of our new scholarships, we have a CCP free to finish, which means that if a student has at least 24 credit hours completed at Sinclair or in CCP, and at least a 2.5 GPA at the college level, then we will basically agree to pay for the rest of that student's time at Sinclair after graduation until they attain their certificate or hopefully their associate's degree. So let's go ahead to the next one. Awesome. So basically, the steps to apply, just go to sinclair.edu/CCP, our online application, complete our online application. One thing I want to add, before you do the online application, I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with the April 1st deadline. Make sure that you turn in your letter of intent to your high school by April 1st. Again, that's the letter of intent. You can find that document on the state website, where you essentially just acknowledge your intent to participate in CCP. Once you have completed that and turned that into your high school, definitely feel free to go to sinclair.edu, complete our CCP application. And pretty much the next step after you complete the application, after about 24 to 48 hours, you'll receive an email from Sinclair, basically just stating that we've received your application. Here's your username, your Sinclair email, and your Tartan ID number. Once you have that Tartan ID number, the next step will be the test. Students who are juniors or seniors, if they have a 3.0 GPA or higher, we can actually waive testing and they could be admitted into the program. If not, we would want those students to either take our AccuPlacer placement exam or our Alex Math placement exam. If a student has completed a ACT or SAT testing, we'll take those scores as well, okay? And also in some cases, if a student has already participated at CCP with another school, say for instance, Cincinnati State, Miami, or University of Cincinnati, we'll take those placement scores also. Again, we're just trying to make sure the process is as easy for our incoming students as possible, because again, we want to make sure that they're on the path to success. So once we've determined our testing scores and things, you'll be able to see that we're looking for 18 on the English, 22 on the math for the ACT, SAT for 80 on the English, 530 for the math, and then for our right placer or our placement exam at Sinclair, we want to see a 5 or higher. Now, for all of these scores, we actually have cut scores as well, basically stating that if a student scores a 4 on the right placer instead of the desired 5, then they are conditionally eligible. They will just need the high school recommendation to continue to participate, okay? So one new piece that we've added to our application process is the mature content piece. So on the application, when that is being filled out, both the student and the parent must sign the mature content acknowledgement on the application. Again, just stating that even though your child is considered a minor or in high school or even middle school, they are participating in the college program, which means that they will be exposed to either graphic images or just mature content that's not necessarily typical in a high school setting. Once that application has been completed and processed and you've gone through testing and things, there is one more step for the mature content. Students have to complete a questionnaire before they're able to register for classes, okay? So important dates. Like I mentioned earlier, letter of intent, April 1st, that is important because again, if you do not turn in that letter of intent, then the school can say that you are not able to participate for that year. So if you're just thinking about participating in CCP, you're not necessarily sure, you're kind of on the fence, go ahead and turn in that letter of intent. It's not an obligation. Same thing with the application. You decide to complete an application, go through the entire process with Sinclair, and then at the end you decide that you do not want to participate. It's not an obligation. Sinclair will hold on to your applications for 2 years. If we see that there's no activity, we'll delete all the information, okay? But again, if you miss that April 1st deadline, I'll say, then you kind of miss out on that opportunity to participate in CCP for that year, okay? As far as the Sinclair deadline, we don't necessarily hold to a deadline. We accept applications on a rolling basis. So that May 1st deadline is just I'll say an arbitrary date. So I just want to share some successes over this past year. We've been able to see 53 students graduate with a college degree before they graduated from high school. Even though students are teenagers, dealing with teenage issues in high school, taking care of their high school assignments, taking care of and participating in extracurricular activities and sports and things like that, we've still been able to see our students have a success rate of 92%. So that just means that the program is successful. The students are working diligently, and they are being able to amass over 61,000 credits, which means we are saving families a lot of money. And actually, we've actually been able to surpass our 8,100 goal. So we're actually working with about 8,200 students just in CCP at Sinclair. So we are very busy. We are very busy, but again, it just shows that the program works and students are able to take advantage. Again, my name is Christopher James. You can definitely feel free to reach out to me. My email is christopher.jame2519@sinclair.edu. I'm sorry for the crazy email, but again, feel free to contact me. My phone number is area code 937-512-3186. And then lastly, one little piece I'd like to share is just as far as participating with CCP. It's very important that that bridge of communication has been set with your high school counselor. So if you're planning on taking the CCP courses, doesn't matter which school you decide to participate, whether it's with Sinclair, Miami, Cincinnati State, again, it does not matter. Make sure that that bridge of communication has been set with your high school counselor, because again, you want to go to them first to at least acknowledge your intent to participate. And then you want to make sure that you contact your college of choice and say, hey, you want to continue on with this process. Lastly, I will highly suggest, I'm sure my Miami partner will suggest the same thing. Even if you decide to participate in CCP, before you register for classes, it's very important just to sit down and meet with an academic advisor. The academic advisor will be able to tell you what classes you're going to take from now until it's time for graduation. And they're going to make sure that those classes that you're taking will transfer to whatever four-year institution you plan on going to, whether it's in-state or out of state, okay? Make sure those lines of communications are open with your high school counselor as well as with your college advisor, okay? Those two things are very, very important. And with that, I want to thank you guys again for joining us, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Chris. And all that contact information for Sinclair, for Miami, that is also part of our handbook. It's the last page. So we have contact information for the school. It's for Sinclair, Miami, Cincinnati State, UC, wherever you choose to do your CCP courses. So his contact information is going to be on there. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to Miami Regionals. Alicia Justice will be joining us. She's going to talk a little bit about what CCP looks like at Miami.
Hey guys, I'm going to fly through here. I think you can actually go ahead to the how to apply slide. All of this other stuff has been covered. I want to make sure we have time for questions. So Miami specific information, everything Chris said is pretty on point with what Miami offers as well. All of the rules and things are state guidelines, so you can use everything that was in the previous slides there. How to apply to Miami Regionals directly. So there is a link there where you can apply. Our application opens up on February 1st. So next Tuesday, the application will be live at midnight. Again, you have to submit that intent to participate form to the high school by April 1st. That is a hard deadline. You have to have the school's permission to participate if you don't submit that. But that is not requiring you to participate. Same with Chris. You can submit the full application, meet with an academic advisor, and find that you might not have a class that fits your schedule. Applying is not requiring that you participate. So submit the application if you're unsure, and you don't have to register for courses. Once you apply on that website, while you're applying, you're going to create an account on our regional's website and submit the application all electronically. While you're submitting the application, you're going to complete the permission slip, which is the same thing that Chris was speaking on. That's a state requirement. It's just stating that you're aware that there may be mature content in the college course that you're taking. And once you submit that, you're going to you're going to include your high school counselor, contact information. It's an email address that is required. It is going to immediately trigger an email to go to our high school partners, asking them to sign electronically, letting them know that you're applying to Miami Regionals for CCP, and they will be able to upload your high school transcript directly to our online portal. Once you have completed the app and the high school counselor has seen that app come through, uploaded your high school transcript and signed electronically for you, it comes back into my hands and I will review your application for that eligibility requirement. You want to go to the next slide? So eligibility right now is currently being reviewed by the state of Ohio. Due to COVID, they had an emergency legislation passed, and all students were admitted based on a 3.0 GPA, and we were able to kind of exclude those testing requirements. Students did very well. There's a lot of data in the state that students were successful with having the 3.0 GPA requirement. So the state is currently reviewing alternative options to allow students to participate without the testing. For Miami Regionals, at this time, until that law is final in statute for state, we do have to require the test score. So we've got a couple options. Once you apply and I get that transcript back from the high school partner, we have two things that we can do. You're going to receive an email right away letting you know that we don't currently have test scores. That email is going to let you know that right now there are alternative options being reviewed, and you can either kind of sit tight while we are waiting for those reviews to come out by the state, or you can go ahead and sign up to take the AccuPlacer with us. We do offer the AccuPlacer one time free of charge. And again, if you were at Sinclair previously or you've tested elsewhere, we'll accept their AccuPlacer test as well. If you decide to wait and get the 3.0 GPA, as soon as we have the state legislation passed, every student who has applied and not been admitted yet will receive an immediate communication letting them know that we're reviewing their application and they will be admissible based on their 3.0 GPA. Again, there's that college ready. That is more than being academically ready. You do want to consider those emotional, social transitions, things like that. And then if you want to skip down 74, the what is Miami Regionals? I want to give you a little bit about Miami Regionals. So what is Miami? We often hear that we are this hidden gem. I'd like to think that we're no longer hidden and just the gym part. So we are a college division of Oxford. And all of your transcripts, your transcript's going to be printed on the same pretty red Miami University transcript paper as an Oxford transcript would be printed. However, if you want to take courses at the Oxford campus, there is a separate entrance requirement and application process. As an Oxford student, you can register for regional classes, but not the other way around. Miami Regionals, we offer 15 unique bachelor's degrees, 9 associate's degrees, and you can start and finish the entire college degree right here at Miami Regionals. We have great partnerships with Sinclair. So if you start at Sinclair through CCP and you want to, transition and finish a 4-year degree at Miami Regionals, we can absolutely help you with that transition and transferring over. What kept me at Miami Regionals and why I really love Miami is the student to faculty ratio. It's 18:1. It's going to be very similar to your high school classrooms. Your instructors are absolutely going to know your name. It is not going to be like the big lecture hall, scary college classes that you might see in movies. It is going to be very unique. And that is one thing that I really fell in love with at Miami Regionals. If you decide to stay at Miami Regionals and matriculate, we are going to not only waive your application fee, so you're not going to be required to pay for that application fee, but we also have some new great regional scholarship opportunities. If you want to skip to the next 2 slides. So these are the degrees you can absolutely Google. We have tons of information, happy to help. locations. If you apply and you choose Hamilton, you can take classes at Hamilton, Middletown, VOA, or online. So don't panic. As long as it's a regional campus, you can take any of those. And then scholarship information. The link there has more information that you can find online. Right now we are offering, this is for the seniors graduating, a $2,000 renewable scholarship to students who matriculate. That is huge. Our full-time tuition is right at $6,600. So reach out to me for more questions. One more slide has my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me directly with any questions. Happy to help you guys with the process. February 1st, we will start getting CCP apps rolling in. So look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia.
Sorry, that was so fast.
No, it was good.
Great job. Wyoming families, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are just about out of time. We have the college admission panels coming up with Mrs. Meese and Mrs. Bunton right after this. So if you don't have that link, please check Mr. Stallings' newsletter and tune in if you can. We hope in the next week to have all of this information uploaded to our school's CCP website. So if you go to the Wyoming City Schools homepage and then just search in the search box for CCP, we do hope to have all of this information available to you in about a week. Other than that, please be looking on our Simply Book Me accounts and booking your CCP planning meeting. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your alphabetical counselor, A through L with Mrs. Rutowski, M through Z with me. You can either email us or reach out through Canvas.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you guys.
everybody.
See ya.
Good night.